What if your IT service desk helped you put your customers first? It can happen when it's powered by the world's most trusted cloud platform. Industry leaders BMC Software and Salesforce.com offer the fastest growing IT service management solution in the market today, RemedyForce. Let's meet Sally. Last week, Sally requested an iPhone by logging a ticket using the hashtag request capability, found exclusively in RemedyForce. IT got a request, and Sally got her iPhone. All was good until her mobile email stopped working. No worries. Sally jumps on to the RemedyForce self-service portal, and before submitting a service request, she checks out the articles section and quickly finds a possible solution to her problem by resetting her phone. Sally finds easy-to-follow, step-by-step instructions on how to remove and reinsert her SIM card. In this case, resetting her iPhone didn't work, so Sally decides to get help from IT. She gives them information about her problem and submits the service ticket. It's instantly routed to a service desk agent. Now, as an agent, you can start to get more information about Sally's problem. You can quickly tell if there's a problem on a larger scale. Right away, you notice there's planned maintenance. And diving deeper, you see there's a problem associated with the server and email on mobile devices. It also looks like someone has already issued a request for change, so you check out the latest status. Good news! There's a rollout plan, a backup plan, and information about who approved the change. It looks like Sally's email will be back up and running in no time. That makes Sally happy, and you a hero. Email is just one of the many critical business services your customers rely on. And with RemedyForce, you can monitor the status of any business or IT service at a glance. Deployment is fast and easy with no hardware or software to manage. Upgrades are automatic, so you'll always be on the newest version with the latest features. And RemedyForce is accessible to customers anywhere, anytime, on any device. Keep your employees happy and your business thriving. Try RemedyForce today.
Hello guys, good afternoon. This is Rajesh Gundurao from SLK Software India, and I have with me Firosh Poochaly. I'm Rajesh Gundurao, working for Center of Excellence in SLK Software. Have 15 plus years of experience in IT, and today we are going to talk about the technology trend and the impact that it is making to ITIL. We feel this topic is more relevant because technology is changing rather than anything more. So it's becoming more and more adaptive, more and more new things are coming out in the market, especially in the area of mobile and the cloud arena. So this session, we are going to talk next 45 minutes about what is the technology trend and how it is making an impact to the ITIL and specifically on IT service management. So all logos used in deck are property of the respective owners because this content is more descriptive. And today we are going to talk about what is the top 10 strategic technology trend based on the Gartner report. And we are going to talk the challenge that we are facing as an IT service provider in the ITSM space, and what is the possible solution for that, and what should be the strategy even as a starting point, mobile strategy. That's something we are going to cover. And what are the possible ideas or the thoughts where mobile can be used in the ITSM space. We have an idea list as well. And also what should be the mobile strategy that we should look of considering this growing technology trend, and what are some of the benefits. We are going to cover it up today. So top 10 technology trend includes, as you can see, the top 2 items: mobile device diversity and mobile device management. This is one of the latest report from the Gartner predicting on where the mobile industry or where the technology is going especially. So mobile is changing every other each and every business aspect. It could be your banking, it could be your healthcare, it could be your IT itself. So how is that it is making an impact in an IT service management area is what we are going to discuss in detail. But this is one of the thought provider for us, because Gartner trend is pretty much is the market leader in terms of predictions and defining the trends. So it's very evident that mobile device are playing a crucial role, and we are experiencing that. So we are going to see the diversity of mobile devices and what does that mean by mobile device management in the next slide. As you can see, there are multiple variations of mobile devices. It could be wearable watch. For example, your application, maybe your phone will be available on your watch, and you have pocketable iPhone kind of an devices, and grab and go kind of your tablets, and convertible. You can attach and detach the screens from the keyboard. Those kind of convertible devices are available, and portable devices like your laptop. And still there are deviations from the old tradition, like we have the traditional desk and the shared areas or shared monitor, that kind of kiosk we can host it and people can see. And the significant difference is the device resolution and the device capabilities and the hardware features that have been added. Those are the key things that are being covered in the different types of device diversity we are seeing here. For example, touch and voice is available in most of these new devices that are emerging, and the traditional keyboard and mouse are there with some of those devices as is explicit. So this is the triggering point for us for this today's presentation. So how is it mobile or tablet especially is going to make an impact in ITSM area? That is what we are going to discuss. And this is one of the key enabler for us to think why we have chosen mobile, because that's being predicted as one of the top trend in the by the Gartner. Now I will hand it over to Firosh Poochaly, who is working with me. So I would request him to introduce himself and take it up the remaining slides.
Hello, everyone. I can't see. Yeah. Okay. Rajesh was trying to introduce and get a clue of what we are planning to talk over here today. Some of the inspirations behind why we choose to talk about this topic today, and an insight of or an idea of how we have structured our slides to relate to what we are trying to express the entire PPT today. The topic we have chosen and discussion. Before that, to give a brief introduction about me, been around 14 years in industry, and was fortunate enough to get opportunity to work with some of the market leaders and leaders who led me over here to talk today. They're like IBMs, CSEs, or affiliated computer services. These are all the organizations who gave me that exposure to talk what the topic which we have chosen to be. So starting from working from a system engineer's profile, we have seen many aspects of IT evolving into different stages. Not as much as an experienced senior person as such, but still, the variety which we have seen in last 10 years would be phenomenally, surprising to me. And being in SLK, working closely with Rajesh Gundurao, who is heading the Center of Excellence for SLK, and he drives. He's the man of master brains behind all the frameworks and beautiful things which we have developed here, which is already been sold to many customers. And there are some of the customers who are widely using the technologies which they have come up with. And the interesting thing is, when me being an IMS person, I mean, from the infrastructure background, I've been showing interest on the space. So Rajesh has immense potential on the space of mobiles and technologies on the mobility area. So and we have some of the successful frameworks which is developed on these platforms, which made me inspired to work with Rajesh and team for for understanding what is that which we can relate or utilize and leverage on uh, on the space of IMS. So this is the relation between why we are talking a lot of times about mobile, and why we picked up a topic called ITIL. So probably that will make sense now. Uh, Maybe I will explain a little further about how we have narrowed down the topic for today, which is basically when we thought about ITIL as the framework. I mean, I don't think so that we need to have an explanation about what is change management, problem management, or a service desk by now, because the industry has already taken control over that space, and it's well versed in most of the organizations. So we have narrowed down to a place wherein service management is the place where an extra mile is expected in a perspective of mobility, perspective of additional features which we are looking forward to, and also on the uh, on the topics which we have decided to narrow down in such way that service management narrow down to IMS space, basically infrastructure managed services. So that's how we landed up in this PPTs, and what innovation which we can think about. So we started brainstorming ourselves by the skill sets of the mobiles and technologies, plus the experience and the skills which I have brought in to the desk. So that's where we put together these slides and ideas into a strategic way, because when we plan about something which we are planning to move on, we need to have a clear-cut structure of how we are going to achieve, or how we plan to do that, what are the steps to do that. So that's how this output has come into the picture. So I think enough of it as a background. I'll jump into the topic directly on what is interesting about the topic itself. So I think we are sitting in a slide which says today's challenges and sample scenarios. I think anybody of us who has gone through in the space of IMS, who has walked in that, would know that what this mean is. I mean, or even the users, I mean, can relate to what we are talking to. When something is failing at the end of the day, and if the SLAs or SLM are defined in such way that it is serviced to a speculated time, um, it gives no possibility for us to talk about talk formally about getting the issue resolved or getting the problems resolved in time, even though the criticality is so high. Maybe we may have to emotionally ask a question saying, explaining the situation and things like that. So that's the reason I left that first line open, saying that an issue with Outlook itself is a big issue if we don't have the. I mean, maybe I'll address those issues in the later slides, but this is a snap of different areas of issues which we may bump across. Next line item which we have kept is server based, which is which what I meant to say is we see a lot of issues which comes and falls under server based issues, like monitoring tool not coming up in the way how we wanted, and monitoring team itself has been defined to open a low level ticket for an event which is going to occur, which they cannot forecast, or which we don't have any intelligence as of now to see how critical it is going to be. So I would say yes, we do have, but not to an extent which we are expecting. So that crosses many unexpected failures. I have seen myself that many things has frozen and failed because we couldn't forecast it enough. We thought it's silly, but it failed badly. So next item which I have listed out, I mean, is network based. It's just to give a snap of what is happening in the why are we talking today. So next is network based, which I have referred as some of the scheduled things fails, and we don't have we don't have a facility to, or an IT engineer don't have a facility to see whether the failure is because of a heavy flow of data in some point of time which is unexpected, and if it comes down, they should be able to restart that or work on that item. But let's see exactly where is the gap. And many of the backups, I mean, we see backup failure as many incidents which raise up after the scheduled speculated time or after the scheduled times, and we may have to wait for a longer time to reinitiate that, because production times, as we know that production times or any other timings wouldn't be an acceptable time for us to do that job, and things like that. Maybe we could relate the solutions and things which we are going to come up with, so that it will make more sense on why we have listed out some of the scenarios over here. So with this, I move on to my next slide, which shows a simple structure of simple way of representing how are we imagining or thinking about leveraging different other applications and tools which are used in ITSM world. This is pretty much a plain understanding of what we think would be the mobile world come and do for us. I mean, in the space of ITSM. So what we expect is, I mean, as we know that some of the market leaders or the most efficient tools have already been leveraging their or extending their space into mobiles and mobility devices with whatever the features they could probably do on the mobile world, or whatever we can achieve from the desktop is already been moved. So we here started thinking in the lines of having them all the features which they have, and a little more. Maybe I could say we're a little greedy on the part. So and there is a reason why we have to do that, because when we say, the moment we say a tablet or a mobile device, we see it as an extension of devices. Basically, it is not just a desktop, and it can do a little more than what a desktop can do. So it has its own hardwares, it has its own devices which is incorporated, and it has some of the special feature like mobility and its own luxury to have it in different aspects, or many other hardware related aspects. So this is the reason we are focusing more on having extra mile features incorporated to these devices to be leveraged for utilizing the industry's demand. I mean, utilizing the situations which it comes with. So some of the thoughts we could see it on the next slide. So that's the reason I kept this. So this is how we think. I mean, basically we need to capture an alert or a ticket or a change management system to have an approval and stuff, and that's where our thought system is ending in at least in most of the areas. I'm sure that there are smarter people who's already thinking in the same lines and would definitely be able to share some of the thoughts and expand on that. So with that, I'm moving into my next slide, which would show what are the major points which we thought across, which I was actually referring to on the previous slides, but this is lay down wings to stretch upon and see what is that which we are laying down as a plan. And some of the points which you can see on the boxes, which are which we need to focus more on, are like device, data security, platform device, and hardware capabilities. Bring your own device. I mean, these are the policies, or these are the dependencies which you need to stress upon, so that in any mobile strategies, so basically to ensure that these are laid down well, so that we can take it further by with not difficulty around in future in some point of time. And the second box which I would pick up is your mobile device application work on different platforms, or is it feasible to use it everywhere? So these are the next thoughts which you need to be clear about. And the next box talks about different other devices, which features which it comes with uniquely, which is what I was referring to as, it has its own additional hardware and capabilities, which is unique in its nature. So how would we leverage, how would we utilize those hardware and software capabilities to take it further for our own purpose in the world of IMS? So next is the interesting box which I have, which I found can be utilized for many of these things which we would badly need in an IMS space, which is nothing but the capacity to scan and find out what are the informations which is incorporated with it. It could be hardware, software related information which it comes with. Nowadays everything is barcoded, and all the entire information can be fed into the KMDB directly without having any manual intervention and things like that. So if it is incorporated with our devices, an engineer or a person who deals with it can be this can be dealt in a far better way than today we do. So as a as a as an engineer, it would be convenient, or from a management perspective, or from a data accuracy perspective, we can limit the human errors and corresponding labor incorporated to it. So, and next point which is interesting to me was capable to integrate multiple applications, which is nothing but what I was referring to was if we have all the platforms ready to work hand in hand, and which can talk to each other, or which could be centralized, integration plays a major role in creating some more intelligence on top of what we have, and that collective intelligence can be used for multiple other purposes, which we can talk further. So these are the points which we stressed upon to ensure that we travel good on future. Okay, well, and now we go into the next slide, which has a lot of text. I know it's so boring to see a lot of text over here, but we need to lay down some of the points which we need to have a visibility of what we are planning to do over here. And these are the I would let you have a look at it in a glimpse. Okay, so I have to go a little fast. I was looking at my clock. It's 2 o'clock. All right. So I wouldn't go by line. I think we had laid on whatever we thought across in the space which we can think. Primarily, service management tools which handles the tickets or change or problem or whatever the records and corresponding things, and representative KDBs and stuff. So anybody could guess that Remedy or ServiceNow or any of the market leaders has come up with giving a lot of leverage to approve a change, or to monitor a service management ticket, or any of those aspects. But we could probably talk about how it will be related to the intelligence, or a smarter way of looking at it, in the perspective of integrating it together, or in the perspective of leveraging the hardware capabilities which we are referring earlier. So in the monitoring tools session as well. A second, please. But this is in the presentation slide. Yeah, sorry about that. Not me. It is the presentation slide, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry for the distraction. We were talking about monitoring tools. As we know that many of these monitoring tools lives in the NOC nowadays. We don't see it on our desk mostly. Most of the engineers don't have access. It's limited. I have no idea why is that reason. What is the reason behind it? But I always felt when I was an engineer that I wish I could have a monitoring tool like, sitting right aside my ticketing tool, or maybe at least in a critical situation where I would like to have an access to. So I think we could relate that as well later sometime on why do we need to have that, or why do we at least need to integrate that into the systems which we are talking about. So next item is remote consoles, which everybody knows. Whoever is in the field of IMS, the critical item is remote access. Basically, if we have a trouble which is going through, we would definitely like to have a look at this machines which is behaving in the way, not in the way how we want it. And most of the times it's matter of 2 or 3 clicks to get over the troubles which we are going through. But maybe the impact is that somebody is not, or a large group is not able to get over what they wanted to. So these are the things which, we don't have to explain what is the importance of consoles in the industry of IMS, in the space of IMS. So we are thinking of having these kind of flexibility to move around and have still the access to devices which we needed uh, to get over the problems or troubles which we're going through. So we will look at how do we integrate that into the system again in an overall scenario. And the analytics are next part, which would be most interesting aspect as well, wherein I'm sure that there are enough analytics which is done by service management tool independently or monitoring tools independently. We have matured to a stage where we can even go to an extent of getting some intelligence within the report by itself. But I don't know. I'm worried. Do we have enough intelligence created by giving a handshake between all of these different silos, which works as a single machine, which works as a single tool? So, that's the point which I would stress upon, because analytics is already there, flying. Every single tool has it. So we will be focusing more on integrated analytics and intelligence within the system by having incorporated view, incorporated access, or some of the logics and intelligence created on top of that layer. So, and management side of it, definitely some of the business intelligence can be created within the system, which is lacking, I feel, in the industry now. We are all trying to make it perfect and precise, but I don't know where. The thoughts are just kicking. Starting in the areas of creating more and more smarter way is to handle it as well. So, one of the aspect is proactive decisions, because we are not able to predict, and proactive measures to be taken for some of the areas which we need to focus on. That should be the focus of future. And single stop view of IMS environment and approvals and authentication. Approvals and authentications again is some to an extent which is already implemented in the industry, as I know. And single stop of view of IMS is something which we are focusing on to see it as a place where one stand for visibility for an engineer, or for a leader, or somebody to have a look at what exactly is happening in the space. And also we need to have I could think of referring to something like task stop, but it will go beyond that. Our thoughts goes beyond that. But in the agile world, if we look at, it helped to an extent of handshaking between different other applications which is running in the pool, and to help to create the ecosystem which it comes up with. So those are the thoughts. Definitely it will go beyond that, because it is not just the connections. That's not what we are thinking about. Let's go to the next slides without spending much time on that text. And that's something which we know. Yeah, this is the logical view of how we layered, or how we have structured our thoughts into some pictorial form, so that we know what so that we can relate to what we are talking. Some of the left side objects which we have kept are relating to what are those hardware layers which we are referring to, which is in our scope, or what is that which we are targeting to? What are the different other flavors which it comes with, and what are the operating system which we may have to look at as a primary items to start with, and some of the areas which it gets impacted to. I mean, definitely everybody knows tickets and SLAs are our primary focus when you talk about service management, which we will be definitely touching. Live alerts and its efficiency of live alerts and how much incorporation it can do with the other things. And remote consoles, as we discussed, and dashboards and reports. And eventually, this is whom it is going to be impacted directly or indirectly. Definitely it will, end of the day, we do all these things for customer. So how do we make an impact to the customer? How does it help to the entire enterprise, and how does it help to partners? So these are the perspectives which we have thought across, and we have direct results mapped to all of these items. So and the next right side of the slide is the central portion, which would primarily be a center stage which we have created for multiple items to live in. I would say to live in. Basically, when we say that it lives into a central portion, as we know that we can create a lot of sense out of different other items. We have X, Y, Z sitting there, so we can create a logic and create an A or B or C if we wanted. I mean, whatever the we wanted, whatever the way we could drive. So that's the reason we kept that as a central place. It could be an MDM platform. As I said, we have some strong platforms and frameworks we developed on this space. So we'll be leveraging those items to place our tools and stuffs which we require to accomplish the result which we are targeting to. This is the plan in place, and we had some discussions about this on how do we do that. I know that it is not easy to create an integrated view of it, but maybe mapping them would be very easy. But that's work in progress right now. So the idea is to make sure that these are directly being utilized in the central place by any of the tools which is widely used in the space. Basically, it could be the right side, tab which talks about tools, which is service management tools, monitoring tools. It could be remote consoles, and definitely some of the analytics which shows up in a snapshot or in a detailed way. And I mean, probably I am limiting myself into mobile space because it is more complicated. But I think once we think in these lines, it shouldn't be a difficult thing to think that map this back to desktops or some other servers. I don't think so. It's going to be a difficult task. So that's why I'm stressing more on the mobile space, because it's a little more complicated than desktops and a little more variety then. So it will be very easy to think, yes, if there is a question like, can this be on desktop as well? I mean, yes, it is going to be helpful. But let's think a step ahead so that it will be easy for us to do that. So hope this is not made complicated. I tried making it as simple as I can, whatever is in the mind. So let's see if there are any questions or any clarifications which anybody wanted to. We would try to answer it. I don't know what is the mechanism to do that, but I'm open for that. Yeah. So with that, moving on to next slide, which shows some of the step view of how do we accomplish this in a strategic way, or how do we lay down these platforms in such way that it is strong enough to reach the destiny which we are targeting. Because many things we plan, especially mobile is an interesting space. Everybody has different plans. Everybody has different interesting things to talk about. But we may get lost in the middle because we don't know where we are. We don't have proper buy-ins. We don't have proper laid structures. We don't have proper steps to follow there to reach the destiny. So that's why we thought strategy is the first, so that if we have enough buy-in, enough visibility of what we are targeting to do, we produce results or we progress with a measurable way. So these are the steps which I have laid down. First early stage, as we all know that, we need to go through some pilots and, proof of concepts, which we have already started. We have kickstarted the activities already. And maybe we will lay down, we will roll out some of them to test in our internal environment to see how efficient it works or what are the flaws and feedbacks and things. So once we are done with that, we gain a confidence to move into the next two steps, which is nothing but uh, we choose some of the selected ITSM staffs on according to their nature of of their requirement. For example, if somebody has an engineer has a need of having integrated view of monitoring plus trouble tickets and a console for him to troubleshoot the issues which comes unexpectedly, which might be happening in month, maybe 10 instance or 15 instance. We don't necessarily have to have him on the desk sitting and monitoring it for 24/7, but rather having an on-call scenario, or having paid on basis of the picking up calls or resolving tickets or whatever. I mean, this is the market demand, as we all know, that everybody wanted to go 24/7. All the small applications are becoming critical now. So everybody are demanding for more and more 24/7, 24/7s. But as we know that, it is directly affecting the cost. It is directly affecting the manpower. It consumes a lot of energy and space than expected. So, maybe we can experiment this into those spaces where we badly need it. We test it out. And once it is proven, once we have the metrics ready, once we have the results ready, we step into the second stage where that's the second stage is where we don't necessarily have to have, stringent SLAs or things like that. But we enable those people who require it. So once we see that it has an impact, then we move into the second stage where we can establish saying that yes, this is proven, this is working, this is how it will work. So we can have an improved SLA defined at that point of time, because we know it works as an internal. So we need to talk this to business, saying that yes, we can. And then so that's a place we start thinking or focusing more on, more about how do we integrate this. So we're clear about whether it works or not. We're clear about whether it creates an impact on SLAs. We have laid down that. We have published that. So next target would be to how do we integrate? How do we make that last thing which we were thinking about to be successful? So that is achieved by the next stage, which is nothing but entire group of IT will be announced with the features which we are targeting to, or with the new things which we can offer in this space. And all of those will include the well-established strategy of what we are going to be, or where we are heading towards. And we will have a centralized policy to manage this and drive this, which is approved by all the authorities. And all possible tools which can do this job will be integrated and working within the system, and to ensure that whatever we promise at the first is getting accomplished over there, because it is gone to a larger scale. And that is where we have to do a lot of learnings, because definitely it is going to be a lot of complications within communication, getting each other, or maybe to see if it works in the way how we thought, and all of things. This will support all other. I mean, this is a stage where we expect to support all other platforms, which is which is possible, which is required to, or which is demanded to. And next is the last stage, which we have laid down here. Here, most of the things are set right. It doesn't mean that it stops there. We definitely have continuous improvement kicked down at this stage. And definitely we need to have a lot of measures and measured result to showcase it to the higher management, saying that, yeah, this works or not works. And next would be next, some of the items again, which is interesting to me, is like, to see the results of what is the impact of the effort which we have laid down, or with the investment which we have laid down, which is nothing but which is nothing but some of the direct cost factors and some of the established ITSM and mobile, center of excellence working together with the user experience or the customer experience and feedbacks directly feeding into the system. And end of the day, we should see it as a running engine. With all the wheels properly, fueled and oiled, so that we ensure that this is how it works, and definitely that there is a continuous improvement kickoff from that stage. So this is the overall picture which we have created in different stages, in the way how we can portray it into to any business user or higher managements to ensure that we are in the right path. Hope it makes sense. Yeah. And with that, I'm moving into the next slide. Maybe I'll go a little more quicker because we need to cover this in another couple of minutes. This is basically just a roadmap to say that yes, we are walking towards there where we are talking. Establish. This would generally apply to any mobile strategies, which is already proven because we have done a couple of frameworks and solutions on this space. So we found that these line items proved to be right, which is making us to walk the directions which we wanted to lay down. So some of the points which is interesting are in the space or in the place, a space which when I say IMS, people would be interested to know about what is the impact of SLAs and things. So see, introduce new SLAs leveraging the power of mobile device is one of the point which is very interesting in this slide. We will be able to, because if somebody anyway, let me not discuss about that. I think we have discussed that line. So evaluate the tablet space in all initiatives. Basically now in current systems, we don't leverage or we don't initiate a process of looking at what is the impact of this in mobile space, but that has to go through in any solutions or any points which we talk about in an enterprise, if we have that laid down process well. So building solutions and focusing and building innovative solution rather than just applications are all those general points which we need to keep it in mind, which I need to stress on these slides because we may miss any of these points. So I'll move into the next slide, which is again a compiling slide to show a snap of what is that which it will all result to, which is very interesting to know. We did some research and we did some brainstorming to understand what will be the impact of each line items or each results which we are going to produce. Each line items producing results of and where it affects. So we had some measurable items as well, but I didn't put it in the slide. But at least on to give a direction of the thought, this will definitely be impacting the productivity and SLA, which is no doubt, because a person who was servicing it in 24/7 with lower SLA will be able to go into live into to a data center or from his home office or from some other place XYZ remotely from irrespective of location. He will be able to resolve that issue within phenomenally lower time spent on getting into the issue by itself, by looking at service management tool or by looking at the monitoring tool to see where is the problem and just taking the console, troubleshooting it, and forecasting some of the things which you can forecast. So definitely it has an impact on productivity and SLA. And next would be a next point which I've laid on is enable mobility, which is a great thing because we all know that from land phone to mobile phone how much we are benefited. So the same impact would be for a person who's in the space of IMS would feel like. So with that, next point would be directly related to, I think I have almost said that, improved ITSM staff motivation. Basically, we as an ITSM staff or IMS staff feel a lot of suffocation even nowadays, even after the technology has grown up so much that we are handicapped somewhere. I could have done this better because I don't have access, I don't have this facility, I don't have this capability to extend myself. I'm limited to, I'm collapsed inside. So most of the times, this is because of limited access, or I'm sorry, limited access or limited accessibility is forcefully limited because there is security concern. There are other things in the place. There are processes in the place which will not allow. Why these processes are limiting? Because it doesn't have a one-factor authentication. It
Hi,
doesn't
this
have
is the
two-factor
Breakpoint
authentication.
technician. I'm afraid we've reached the end of our allotted time. If you could just very quickly wrap up for me.
Yeah. This is my last slide. So, I would be compiling with this. I would require another 5 minutes. Is it acceptable?
We have 1 minute until I have to cut you off.
Okay. All right. So I think we may have to. I don't have to explain much about this. This is very clear maybe we can think about this and see how we can relate to the solution which we were providing. So with this, what I wanted to compile is, if we create an intelligence within the system by combining multiple other tools or having a centralized stage to perform this entire performance, would benefit the industry of IMS into a larger extent. And we're looking forward to have a POC done very soon and have the product which we are referring to be released or given into test beds and see if what we thought is real or not. I think I'm good with that. I would